Yep. What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. I was just checking out the NHS crap on my street, still going strong, which is wicked. Yeah, this cheeky little, you can't see it, can you? This cheeky Golf Hat t-shirt, there's only 2 of them. They were like test prints, and the logo is absolutely massive, so it's a bit too big, like. But me and Grant have one, but that's it. But we will be doing some t-shirts at some point, as I mentioned earlier this week. Yeah, so thank you for joining me again. Last week was wicked, man. We got some really good tunes in and we got some really good feedback. So I've been getting more and more throughout this week. I have a massive list now. I don't think I can actually show it to you because I haven't set up my screen in that way. Maybe. You can see here I have a big list of tunes. But I'm also out of breath because I was downstairs trying to do the clap and I ran back up. But there's probably 20 or 30 now, so please do keep adding them because maybe we can run this for a few weeks, you know. Maybe for like 4 weeks and then try something different again. That could be quite a good move. But as always, I'm going to pick from random. I haven't listened to any of these. I think I've listened to one because it's someone I know. But other than that, I haven't listened to any of them. So before I do that though, if you don't mind, we have Golf Hat Records. We have the Pixis release coming out tomorrow. It's called Hourglass. And it's absolutely banging. I'm going to really quickly play you the promo video. It's a minute long. Please enjoy. Let me know what you think. It's out tomorrow on all platforms. You can stream it up, download it, Bandcamp it. Without further ado, here goes. Hopefully this works. So yeah, hopefully my mic's a bit better now as well. That is the new release from Pixis, which is called Hourglass, and it is out tomorrow on all platforms. I absolutely love Lucid, is my favourite of the 3. I like them all, but I just think the vocal is absolutely wicked on Lucid. Right, so we're going to get straight up into it. As you know, I'm going to pick one from random, so please don't be offended if I didn't pick you, or if I did pick you. Enjoy it. Here we go. I'm just going to pick. Okay, let's go with this one. So this is Hoxie, French producer, and this is called Bolt. And we are gonna play it now, and hopefully you can hear the audio all right. Let me know if you can't, because it's from a different computer now. Hopefully it ain't fucking glitching. Silence. When your SoundCloud button's muted. What? Let me reload that, sorry. Right, I'm going to turn my mic off and run this through the
Really nice, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was vibey, man. There's some absolute vibes going on there. Feedback wise, I don't want to give too much technical feedback because I don't think I'm the best person at mixing down in the world, to be honest. But musically, I think at the end here, let me just reload a bit. some of the elements, but again, this is personal preference, and I'll say this to anyone about any tune in the world ever. But some of the elements could be filtered down. I just love filtering as much as I possibly can to make it roll. I think the drums were pretty nice. Yeah, they're a little bit. You could maybe do some more rolls or filters to keep things moving along. But generally, I think there's a nice vibe there, man. Maybe the bass can come up a touch. I think overall, though, I think there's a really good track there, man. That's really nice. What I'll do is just have a quick look through the feedback in the chat room, see what everyone else is saying, because we tend to have common themes going. So, what have we got? Yes, bass is so nice. Bass is sick. Drop hit well. Love the guitar. Yeah, the guitar's really nice. Maybe filter out the drums in the breakdown a bit. Yeah, that's a really good idea. First tune setting the bar high. Yeah, sure is. Just filter the drums at the endings. Pretty cool songs. Drums slightly drown out the other elements. Yeah, so that might be. They sounded alright to me. That might be a level thing though. Has a bit of a logistics vibes to it. Wicked. That's true actually. It does. You could maybe introduce a more shaker, more softer high end. Like in the second drop, maybe like another little shaker could come and just fill that space, that white noise space. In the second half, I think. You do have to nitpick on these tunes. I know this is making my job very difficult because the standard of tunes are really good, and I wouldn't like to put my tune through this whole thing. So, congratulations to everyone who's got the balls to send the tunes in. The hats seem a bit scratchy, but otherwise loved it. I didn't notice that too much. Harsh percussion. So a few people have said that. So yeah, maybe you want to soften those hi hats. All right, wicked. What an awesome first tune. Thank you, Hoxie. That was called Bolt. Now let's move on to the next tune. Here we go. Random. This one is by Lenniz. I think that's how you say it. Brainwork and Lenniz. It's called Ukiyo. And Lenniz does actually have some music coming out on Golfat in the near future. So, super excited about that. Let's kick this one off straight away. Play.
explore myself. Well, I found I could only go so far before I just ran dead up against myself. I couldn't go any farther. After that, I just started taking little kicks. To do something.
He's so young as well, isn't he? Which is great. Lots of talent, lots of wicked ideas as well coming from Lenny's. I think it's pronounced Lenny's, I'm not entirely sure. But what a great tune, what a great vibe. I think I do have some feedback for once. I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, I pointed out on the Spectrum Analyzer, the breaks need better EQ. And I mean that, you know, with all the love I can. The tune is wicked and there's such a vibe there, but the breaks don't quite lick as they should. And I think one way to solve that, I mean, you may be doing this already, but one way to get around that is to chop each individual element out of each break. So the kicks, the hats, the snares, and put them on separate layers. EQ them independently and then put them back in a group, glue them together with a bit of compression, and that way you have a bit more control over how each hit sounds. Failing that, I mean, it takes ages, but that's the proper way to do it. Failing that, I feel like you could layer up some of those breaks with some hits just to give them a bit more punch in the mix. There's a lot of mid going on, and you could see, if you look at most tunes, you'll see a dip in the middle on the Spectrum Analyzer on that big screen when I'm playing them. Whereas with that tune, it was all quite flat. So there's a lot of mid in those breaks, and I think that could be improved by some selective EQ, chopping up them breaks manually, doing it the long way, Or, like I say, roll off more bottom and bring in some hits and layer them that way. But what a vibe. I don't think it needs to drop so early because it's a 7.5 minute track and it goes for a bit. So I don't think you need to be coming in at a minute. I think you could drop at like 1:30, a bit more traditional with this one. Build up that intro a little bit as well. But wicked tune, man. Wicked idea. I'm not sure if you're even online, but thank you for submitting it. I will give you that feedback in person or via when we chat next if you're not online. Let me have a little look at the chat room. One day I'm going to take you to Rupture. That's from Mr. Porter, yeah. That'd be sick. Great tune, great vibes, brakes and pads. I love it. It feels very Clue. This is simply proper business. Where do I hand my money over? Feel free to donate that money to me and I'll make sure Lennis gets his cut. He's only young though, innit? So I'll take all his money for now and wait till he's 18. This I'm only 18 thing isn't fooling anyone. Yeah, true. Very talented young lad, isn't he? Lennis is Benjamin Button. He's 14 next birthday. That's Pixis not being able to type a sentence out correctly. Lennis should admit to everyone he's been at it for 20 years. Yeah, so what everyone's saying, if I had this on vinyl, if I had vinyl, I'd be after this on white label for sure. Such a fat old school flavour. How do we submit tracks? You submit tracks via Discord. Hopefully someone's dropped a link in the chat. If not, I will put a link in here at some point when I get a sec. Love this vibe, beats of Wicked's Jungle Jungle. Those breaks, very intelligent D&B. Book and vibes. Yeah, wicked, man. Definitely work that. Very good looking, circa mid-90s. Cool, man. Nice to have a little bit of drum choppage in the feedback sessions as well. I love it, loving that. All right. Let's move on. That was great. First two tracks setting things nicely. Setting it up nicely, should I say. What we got. So this is called, I'm loving the picture. This is called Won't Wait, and it's by Johan.
I won't wait for you. It's the middle of the night.
nice, nice. Yeah. Oh. Some very nice vibes there, Johan. Don't know if you're watching or not. That's really cool. There's some really nice elements there, but it still feels like it actually says release date 19th of September 2020 on the SoundCloud link. So maybe it's already signed, maybe it's already coming out. I don't know. Yeah, it feels like it still feels like an idea, if you know what I mean, and I mean that with respect. Not. It feels like there could be some different elements or a change up. It feels a bit like a loop's being dragged out to me. Nice, really nice vocal sample or vocal. I'm not sure if it's a sample or recorded. Really nice. Some of the I did notice the kick. I was flicking between my monitors and I did notice the kick sounded a bit flabby. I don't know if that's a technical term, but it had a bit of flab in it. And what I mean by that is probably you could just do a little bit of shaping, transient shaping or faster attack on a compressor just to make it a bit more snappy. And I was cranking it on the system and I could just hear that it was a little bit just felt a little bit loose. And usually, you know, I fixed that from making the transient a bit more sharp, or just so you know it's more obvious those hits. But generally, cool track. I do think, like I say, I do think you could have a change up in the middle or maybe even the second half. It felt a little bit dragged and it was only how long was it? 3 minutes 42. So yeah, at the moment to me, it feels like a bit of an idea still. And I think you could work on it, but very good bones, very good idea. Let's see what the chat room is saying. The tremolo sound that comes in needs turning down, yeah. Okay. Tops on the drum sounding nice. Could be a bit quieter. There's a weird sound every 32 to 64 bars that doesn't fit with the tunes. Maybe that's the tremolo sound they're talking about. Seems a funny ripping sound intermittently. It's very loud. Lovely pads and chords. Yeah, I agree. I hope that's not my computer making that weird sound though. Beautiful melody, not enough variation. Yeah, you see, so that's kind of what I was saying. It feels like it drags a little bit, and it's only 3.5 minutes, and it probably shouldn't at that time. Drums could be a bit fatter in my opinion. Yet vocal is well cheddar too. I think the vocal's all right. If you can make the track a bit more moody, you can counter it. Drums sound a bit too bright. Maybe. Lovely vibe, very nice vibe. A little bit of EQ work. Yeah, so kind of what we're all saying similar things, I would suggest. Definitely don't give up on that one though. There's a very good bones there, man. So definitely you can make something out of that. Cool. So that was Johan Won't Wait. What I'm going to do now is play the next one. And random in the tombola, spin it. Here we go. Rod Fresh. This is called About Me. I think that's how you say it. Rod Fresh. Yes. Okay. No, that's cool. There's a vibe there. There is a vibe there. What I would say, you saw me standing up because I was just checking the speakers because I could see them moving. You've got some really low bass notes in there that aren't quite pushing through. And that might be because they're so low, my speakers can't fucking even play them. But I would say, first up, the drums to me are very loud compared to the rest of the track. And also, I hope my mic's on, yeah, it is. The drums are really loud. The snare is questionable. Could be a personal preference thing, though. Depends what kind of snare you like. It might work with that type of tune if you get it sitting right. But the drums are really loud. The bass needs to come up, I think, unless it's so low that my speakers can't handle them. But I don't think that's the case. That mid distorted bass sound is like a virus synth. It's like sits in the middle. It's a little bit distorted. I feel like that needs more love. Maybe take some mid out of that or distort it even more so it's purposely, obviously distorted. It ends abruptly there as well. You can even see that in the waveform. Not that the visual matters, but you can even see that on screen. But there's some bones there. I think you could change it up a little bit. Maybe even introduce, like, don't be afraid to introduce some sort of break at the end of 16s or 32s, like a little really fucking metal sounding break that just goes, you know, just to bring you back into the loop. Distort up that mid sound a bit more. Pull that bass out, get the snare sounding fat, and you might have a dark stepper there. But thank you very much for sending that in. Let's have a little look at what everyone else is saying. I've got to remember what tune might fit. Okay, no. Okay, so I think the drums are too loud in the mix. Not sure about the snare. So similar. Basses could come up a bit and have a bit more width for them in the mids and tops. Yeah, I completely agree. I can see that the snare transient MT. I don't quite get that one. Oh, he's seen it on the analyzer. Okay. Nice groove, different. Needs a bit more variation in the elements before the breakdown. I think introduce something changing up. I really like the swing on it though. Yeah, that's really good feedback. Drums seem a little undercooked. Very hitsy, not so much side content. Yeah, maybe a bit of percussion can help you out there, mate, or a shaker, or fill it with some breaks, you know, in the background. I like that it's all kick and snare. Personal, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Decent stereo working elements. Could spice it up with some Foleys. A little bit of background noise. I like it. Drums sound a bit thin. Could really do with more layers. Is there any way I could submit a track for feedback? There is. There's a link above. If you scroll up in the chat, you'll see a Discord link, and the invite is set to never right now, so you can join the Discord server. I'd love to see you there. But big up Ross Fresh. Thank you for anyone who sends in tunes. It's not easy to send in tunes and put them to public feedback, especially with a group of drum and bass connoisseurs that we have in the chat. Everyone here knows their shit, and it's also live. So fair play to you for even sending it in. That does take a lot of bollocks, and it's really good that you've done that. And hopefully you can take some of that feedback and work on it. Or not. Feedback is subjective. Feel free to just tell me to fuck off and do what you want. Right, so let's go for the next one. Tombola. What have we got? Digital Native, Moment Past 20-5-20. Do the groundwork, son. I'm streaming. You're signing them up. No, that was really nice, man. What a lovely, lovely track. There ain't much feedback to give you on that. You could, and I don't know, this is personal preference, but you could maybe come with a vocal sample or a vocal. But it rolls so nicely that you wouldn't want to like lose that flavour with a vocal. But I feel like that might just finish it off if you had a little vocal, or at least a little couple of words just sprayed here and there throughout, just to keep that interest going. Really, really good track. Again, so far we've had some brilliant tunes. I can see that you've released on Silent Audio before, which I think is Arch Origins label, maybe. I might have that wrong. Not much feedback to give you, man. I think it's really good. Really good. I think personal preference for me, I'd bring in a little vocal sample. But yeah, let's have a little look at the feedback in the chat. Lovely piano, Lord. This is sick. Yeah, you see, love the offbeat drop. I really like the way it dropped, actually. That was really cool. Tasty. Nice dusty vibes. This tune has a nice vibe. There's a lovely, not fussy tune. I think it needs a vocal hook. Yeah, solid vibe. Perhaps the piano feels a bit too loopy. Yeah, you could cut the piano out, filter it right out, one or the other. So clean. Only thing I would say is a chord change occasionally, please. Yeah, maybe in the breakdown. Vocals. Okay, so a couple of people said vocals. Sub feels a bit low my end, but vibes nonetheless. I would love a little vocal here and there. Vocal would definitely help mix it up, but doesn't need one. I didn't even see this chat, so very similar. Not everything needs a vocal. Again, like I say, the vocal thing is a personal preference. The tune is perfectly good without one. So, don't take that as verbatim. Do what you want to do, man. It's a good tune. Right, this is the kind of track that I could listen with my friends and a beer. Yeah, you're right. It's a proper little summer sitting in the garden, sipping on a nice drink. Have that going in a mix. That would be wicked. One shot vocal every now and then. Okay, cool. Yeah, really good. Again, really good. Thank you for sending that in. I don't know if you're in the chat or if you're online or you heard. Oh, yes, you are. Yep. Digital Native UK, big up. Nice one, man. Thank you for sending that. Right. Straight on to the next one. This is called Subwoofer Lullaby. What a fucking name for a song. That is called Alpha Rhythm. This is called... No, by Alpha Rhythm, sorry. Let's press play. Some very nice atmosphere going on there. Really nice atmospheric sounds throughout that, actually. I did feel like they were all the way through it, though, and you could have dropped them out at some points and just let the rhythm ride. Overall, though, the mix weren't too bad. The snare was a little bit thin in places. I feel like maybe you could back that up a touch, but let me just I'm just going to pull it back again to where it drops. I just think maybe the kick sounds a little bit harsh. The snare could do with a bit more weight potentially. But more importantly than the technical shit really is the song itself. And like I say, I feel like there's too much of that atmosphere going on throughout the whole thing, which is great for an intro and a breakdown and maybe even the second half of like a rolling part. But, you know, you want to get people to really nod their head and maybe have a little dance, and to do that sometimes you got to strip tunes back to being more minimal, which is really hard to do because, you know, sometimes you feel like, oh, there's not enough, it sounds way too minimal, no one's going to like this. But be brave, be bold, give it a crack. Let's have a little look at what the chat room's saying. Minecraft remix. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I use Minecraft samples. Okay, so the samples from Minecraft, I assume. Is that the atmosphere? Sounds nice, interesting. Filter drums stop abruptly. Kick and bass are kind of clashing, maybe due to SoundCloud or streaming. I think the bass needs to be more present. Yeah, potentially you could layer up that sub with like a mid bass or like a filtered mid bass, like a filtered Reese or some shit. Might sit nicely with that. The dreamy vibe is very nice, and I agree. I think it is very dreamy. That is a good word for it. Some elements seem to be fighting each other. I'd switch up the second drop to fall onto a different chord or sample maybe. Top end of the snare could use some taming maybe. Yeah, potentially. Do you want a whiskey, bub? That's my girlfriend from downstairs asking me if I want a whiskey. Is that not the best girlfriend in the world? Literally whilst I'm up here in my studio. If you can hear me and you're watching, I do not. I have a bottle of whiskey behind me, so I'm all right. The pads and breathy vox could sit back a lot more behind the piano and bring them out for intro and breakdown. We are losing that lovely piano. Sick ideas, though. Yeah, I agree with all of them comments. Thank you again for sending that in, man. That was good. But yeah, please do work on that and maybe consider stripping back some of those elements as it's rolling. Right, next up we have our very own Gold Fat regular, Pixis, who was working on this today, and she sent it to me. She sent it to me a couple of hours before this to get some feedback, so she's very brave. I love it. Let's play it. Someone just mentioned Balearic feeling in the chat, and it does have that for sure. There's a really good vibe there. I think after listening to all the others and hearing that straight away, there's a lot of top end missing. And I think I mentioned it earlier on WhatsApp that it may be a little shaker or something to bring that high. Where is it about? I don't even know where the frequency is. 10k plus. That high shuffle, just to keep that brightness going. It feels like the percussion is missing some brightness for sure. The bass is sounding alright, sounding good. Really nice idea. Yeah, the vocal is obviously filtered throughout. It might be nice to unleash the filter if you can. I don't know what the sample's like, the original sample, but maybe open up that filter every now and then just so we can hear the brightness, because it's adding to that muffled factor. There's just a little bit of muffle over the whole thing, and it's just like bringing out that sheen. Other than that, I really like it. Really nice idea. Let's have a little look at what the chat's saying. Little bit of saturation on the drums can be nice. Yeah, you could potentially saturate the bass, get a little vibe going. Really nice rolling vibe on this. The vocals seem like they slip out of tune every so often. Yeah, they do actually maybe, but I think you can get away with that on this one. But they do a little bit. Lastminute.com, yes. You could fix it with a bit of tuning. Sure. Sup, man? Could I get some feedback from you? Yes. Put your tune into Discord and I'll put it in the list for next week. I've already got a list for this week, so you're not going to get it tonight, but maybe next week. Percussion's cool, some kind of Balearic feeling. Yeah, that's what I think. It does have a little Ibiza vibe going on. Yes, maybe the odd note, but I do like the vocals. Thank you. Maybe the odd note, but I do like the vocals. Is that an original vocal?
Pass me your glass.
Hold up, I've had some ice brought to me. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Vocals are burial-esque. Yeah, they do have that vibe actually. Snare can be more open, top end saturation. Yeah, again, I think that's mentioning the brightness, isn't it? That's touching on the same thing. It does sound a little bit muffled, but wicked idea. Nice one, Mel. Keep sending them beats. And we shall now move on to the next one. Thank you so much. Cheers.
I'm not getting on that camera.
So the next one is by, is it Axioma? Anomalous Genetics. Mike Diaz, this is a new profile, isn't it? 1 follower, 1 song. Well, you've made this just for this. All right, let's play it. That's cool, man. You know what? I'm not gonna play. I'm getting the vibe from that already. I'm not gonna play the whole 7 minutes because I feel like there's some work. Some work needs to be done. I'll be straight with you because I think that's the best way to get feedback, right? The build up. Is my mic on? Yeah. The build up feels like it's going to go somewhere and it doesn't. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but when it does drop, it doesn't quite lick. I feel like you've got so many different elements going on. My guess is you're quite new to making beats, which is great, and massive shout out for sending this in. That's very brave of you. My guess is you're quite new because you're trying a lot of different things in one tune. And, you know, with experience comes confidence to be not minimal, but what's the fucking word? With experience comes just confidence in being keeping it simple and letting things just roll and not being too worried about changing everything every 4 bars or every 8 bars. Oh, no, I need to change it. I need to change it. People are going to get bored. Having said all that, there's some really wicked elements in there. There's great. The sub is really, really nice. Some of the drums are really nice as well. I just feel like maybe you start half time, go double time, maybe stick to one or the other. The way the drop builds up is like it's definitely going to be fast. So it's a bit weird when it drops slow. Let's just spin it back. I'm just going to play it again from the drop. Let's play that again. See, that little roll's really good, man. You got some good skills there. That sounds, sonically, it sounds really nice. It's almost like you need to, like, if you're going to do that build up, you need to, like, go, let it breathe for a minute, and then come in with the drop, like, just give it a gap. See, this is... that's all cool, like, that halftime actually sounds really nice, sounds really subby. But then you're already bringing that lead really quickly. So I feel like you're a little bit scared to let it roll and be confident in the sound you have. That's my hunch. I could be completely wrong and it is subjective. So, of course, feel free to tell me to do one. Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of elements, man. Just like maybe take the halftime thing and run with it and really make that be the track. Work on that and work on some dubby elements and just delay some little sounds you've got going on and just really be confident to keep it half time. Don't worry about the double time. But again, thank you so much for sending that in. Let's have a little look at the chat. See what everyone else is saying because we do get some awesome feedback on here. Great title. It is. A good title, Game of Thrones type beat. Yeah, both bits are cool. Drop was unsatisfying. Hopefully the second drop lands. The sub sounds very nice. I agree, the sub sounds really cool. Nice idea. The elements are cool. Solid idea. Just need to work on the production. Lakeway-esque, but needs a lot of mix down work. Keep at it. Yeah. Sounds quite synthy. Could do some nice plugins to make those sounds move and flow. Some granularity. Mix is more like a hip hop beat, not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. Oh, so this is from you, Mike. Thanks a lot. I've been focusing on composing and musical theory only, so I'm really bad at mixing and mastering. I wouldn't say you're that bad, mate. I would just say tone down the musical elements and try and be simple if you can. Very brave. Oh, wait, it's moved now. Where we at? Yeah, very brave. I would not have sent in anything this early. You are very brave to send it in. Some cool ideas in there. Half-time breakdown would work well. Yeah. Is the snare in the half-time part sitting on the 4? May work better on the 3. That's an interesting idea. This is rad. I think the halftime is grooving. I agree. I think you should roll with the halftime. Drums need a bit of variation. Okay. I think there's a lot of feedback there for you to crawl through if you want it. And I think you should take it. So, let's move on to where we at. Let's do a couple more. I've got two of the same one here. I think it's the same person. Okay, this one is by Watts. It's called On My Mind. That is a nice. You know what? That's a good way to do your feedback because it's just a little snippet into the track rather than a full track. That's really nice, man. I really liked that. That is it. Yeah, maybe a Reese. It's a little distorted bass that just comes in at the end of the bar and back out. That was a really nice sound, especially within the vocal sample hitting. I thought that was a really good technique. There's a nice bit of sub in there. I think the mix lets it down a bit, to be honest, because the actual track is really, really nice. There's some really cool elements in there. Clearly got a good ear for what sounds good. The piano, the chord stab could do with more reverb and a little bit of the top taken off, so it's less 90s, and a little bit just more a shorter stab, and maybe I don't know if you've got a pedal for your keyboard, or you could just draw it. You could draw sustain in. I think it's a sustain on the piano in MIDI. You can just draw that in, so you just hit the keys really quickly and just let the sustain hold the note rather than holding the note. That changes the sound of it. Filter it a bit, reverb that a bit. That will sound really nice. The drums could do with a little bit of work, a bit more shuffle. The snare was a little bit thin, but really nice ideas, man. Really nice idea. Let's have a look at what people are saying. Love the bottom end on this. Feel like the Reese could do with a longer release. Yes, that I think that might be the sound I was talking about. That distorted bass. Just let that. Maybe even a reverb tail. Turn the reverb up. Put reverb on it. Turn the mix to 0, and just at that last note as it's fading out, turn the mix right up so it just carries on. But yeah, great vocal chops. I agree. Love the vocal. Yes. Bass line could use a bit of variation after 32 bars in the drop. Maybe end up with a high note every 4 bars. Yeah, especially as it's so focused on the bass, which I love. Yeah, that's some really good feedback there too. Some transitional chords between the two main themes would work. Yeah, especially into the dark or diminished chord. That's a really good bit of feedback too. I agree with that. You could do a little bit of piano work there. Maybe some more drum elements, breaks, percussive hits. Yeah, I agree. But there's a lot of good things there as well, so don't fuck it up by going too far away from what you've got. But, just those little touches. Here we go. Piano sample could have a little bit more live reverb. Yeah, which is similar feedback. Could all be better as it's pretty minimal. Fill out the mix a bit more. Yeah, potentially. It's a really good feedback there. Really good idea. Thank you so much for sending that one in, Watts. I'm going to give you a cheeky little follow. You can't see on my screen, can you? But I'm going to follow you and check out what other beats you got, because you've clearly got a good ear. Right. What's next? I'm going to make this my last one because it's been an hour and nearly a half. So let's do one more. But before I play that last one, I do have, as you may have seen, my new EP, which is coming out. I've got to do a little advert. Next month. It is available to pre-order, but also keep your eyes and ears peeled tomorrow because we're doing another announcement. So I hope you can check my socials tomorrow and you can listen to some other shit. But for now, let's do one more. We are going to do... Oh, you don't need that if you sent it in. That was Recollect, and this one says this track was not found. Maybe it has been removed. He's probably sent me another link, but I haven't updated it. All right, sorry, mate. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Recollect, send me that if you're watching, send that one again. And I will try and get it in next week, mate. Right, this is Lunar Harmony, and it's called Dreams of You, spelt Y-U. Nice one for sending that in. There's some really cool elements in there. There's some really nice piano progressions that you're playing, which I really, really like. There's a lot going on throughout a lot of it, especially with the piano. But they are really nice piano progressions. So you could go all out and try and make it that type of Ethelwood type liquid tune. But some of the bass sounds need a little bit of work. Like there's a mid bass sound that sounds a little bit abrupt. It could be a bit filtered to sit with the sub a little bit more. I think the sub can come up anyway. It's hard. I'm not getting the weight. I can hear it's there, but it's not quite licking through. I'm just gonna pull back to remind myself. I think you start with drums and they pretty much go throughout, so it doesn't give the listener much of a break. But let me just play from about here. Yeah, that. I know that sound. I think it's massive. Yeah, it's like a massive dubstep sound. I know what it is, but I feel like that could be filtered down and let the piano breathe a little bit. I think if you're going to have that kind of really obvious piano progression, I feel like you need to give it more space in the song. Let me just play it again a sec. Yeah, I feel like the drums need a little bit of love as well. Sonically, again, I don't want to give too much technical advice because it's unique to everyone. Because it could, how far do you take technical advice, or how much of it do I give? Because do I say go all the way, strip the fucking drums completely, and start again with better hits, better percussion? And we could, you could just go on all day. So I don't want to give people too much technical advice. I'd rather just try and give you a bit more musical advice. But let's have a little look at the sonically. What do I mean by sonically in music? I mean the way it sits, the way it sounds. I need to know what context I said sonically. Give us some tips for drums. Yeah, so really I would I know I say every tune I've basically said put a fucking filter on it. But that's terrible advice. I keep saying it. For drums, I think... okay, so if I'll give you any tips on drums, it would be original source sound is the key. Like, you could spend hours and weeks on trying to make a snare sound good, but ultimately, if the snare is not very good to start with, just bin it off. And we all do that at the start. We'll spend hours trying to EQ something that's just not happening. I think the easiest thing to do is start again, change the snare out, until you've got something that sounds decent. I'm quite minimal with EQ, as you'll hear in my tunes. I'm not that aggressive in EQ at all. So like, I'll just get a nice sounding kick that is like a breaky kick. I'll roll off all the bottom end out of it, and then I'll put a more electronic subby kick underneath it, and I'll compress them together. That's how I do my kicks. It's really quite simple. Snares is similar. I love a rim shot, and I love snares that aren't too open, so quite tight. I love breaky snares as well. A lot of my stuffs have just breaks in the backgrounds filtered out. So I'm not the best person to give you drum advice, but let me go through this chat. Is it massively sample based for drums to sound good? I only use... Some people make their drums in serum and stuff. Those people are crazy, man. I don't even know how you do that. All my drums are samples. But not necessarily like fucking drum and bass sample pack 1. Sometimes they are. But a lot of the time they will be from old breaks or old records. Layered with more modern kicks. But whatever sounds right for the track. But yeah, musically, this Dreams of You tune, I feel like there's a lot going on again. And it's an recurring theme with producers that maybe are relatively new. And I say relatively new because I've been doing it for stupid amount of years. And it took me ages to be brave enough to strip things right back and be confident with the sounds that I do have. So you're better to have less sounds, but less sounds that sound better. Right, let's have a little look at the feedback. Mike Kiss and his filters, laughing face. It's very true. If you don't even have to watch his show, just think, oh, if I filter this, I've got his feedback already. Has a lot of potential, I agree. All good ideas and elements, just sounds a little too dry and a little flat. Some elements like bongos could sit a little further back in the mix. Yeah, I agree. Could go more minimal on this. Yep. All the musical elements are wicked. Drum and bass needs more depth. I think a good mix down can make this gorgeous. Yes, I completely agree. I really like your piano work. Like I said, I just feel like you'd be more brave with that piano and move, or I'm not going to say filter anymore. Duck everything else out a little bit so you can hear the piano more, obviously. Think how London Electricity, go and listen to his last album because he loves the piano, and listen to how he puts a piano in the mix. What I would suggest doing is getting one of his tracks, putting it in your DAW as a reference. Make sure you turn down the level of the track to match the average level of the track you're working on in your DAW, otherwise you're cheating. So solo his tune, see what it's hitting at on the output. Say it's hitting at -4 decibels, then mute his tune, play yours back, make sure it's hitting at -4 as well, and then compare how it sits sonically in the mix, and that way you will get an accurate reference. Right, drums could come up a bit more. Needs a big old sub bass. Yeah, the bass wasn't quite coming through. Bass is too plastic, fake and boomy. Needs to be a bit softer, warmer. Yeah, get a nice sine wave in there, man, and just distort it a little bit. Get some of that warmth going. Lots of potential here. Again, completely agree. Too much piano, I reckon. Maybe have less frequent melody or low pass. Yeah. See, he said filter. Why am I not allowed to say filter? Nice vibes, like the breakdown. Yeah, so some really good notes, man. Really, really, really good notes. Okay, so I know I said that was the last one, but I'm going to play one more bonus one, and then I am genuinely going to call it a day. But I feel like I'm just going to get one more in. Let's remove that one. And this was a last minute entry by Aidin, and it's called BS15. Yeah, man. Someone said you can always tell by the intro that it's going to be a vibe, and that was definitely a vibe. The only thing I would say, well, the only couple of things are the arrangement is really odd. You kind of drop for a very short amount of time. I don't know if you can see my mouth. Yeah, right here. And then the whole tune kind of comes out. It maybe goes for less than a minute or a minute, and then it just disappears for ages. So it comes out really quickly, which is probably why it's 3 minutes 26. That is a very short amount of time for a drum and bass record. You can be at least 5 minutes, mate. So let that first drop roll a bit longer, shorten the breakdown maybe, and then come back in. Overall, yeah, I mean overall it's short, but that middle extended sections just comes in at a weird time for me. Some good vibes though. The pluck sound, is it the pluck? It comes in like halfway through the first drop. That's a bit, man. That's a bit cheesy, man. I feel like I don't dislike the melody. I feel like it's a bit trancey. I think you could use a better sound, like maybe even a piano, you know. I think a really nice piano. I mean, this is subject again at this point. This is just my personal preference, man. You might like that trance shit. That I just feel like that melody in a really nice piano would just really make it sing. But you know, if you want to go down that route, go down the route. Obviously, each to their own. That's what I would do. But or maybe just reverb it a bit more, just because it just sounds a bit like it just stands out a bit too much. So maybe it could even just be a mix issue, like maybe just add a touch of reverb to it or some delay, and just quiet and make it a little bit quieter. And then that would probably be a vibe. Other than that, man, it's a really nice track. Let's have a little look at what the chat's saying. Right, the drums could be... Oh wait, hold on. You've only been making tracks for 2 months. That's impressive. Perez style vocal would work so well on this. Yes. Love the vocal bits in this. Nice. Making absolute rude boy tunes after 2 months. Only thing I changed so far would be the drums. Tad louder and more prominent. Yep. The 80s synth is lit. See, what do I know? Maybe the 80s synth is the way. Maybe a little bit more present snap on the snare. Bring that piano up. Like, take the pedal off it. If it's a real piano, it deserves more presence. Yeah, your edits are sick. Yeah. Drums need more saturation. Okay. I would not play the Pornhub sample all the way through. I didn't notice the Pornhub sample. The piano floaty bits in the intro sounded a little detuned, which was nice. That synth is my favourite thing about the tune. Yeah, see, everyone loves the synth, so don't listen to me. Why are you listening to me? I like the pluck. Stands out a bit too much in the mix. Yeah, see, that's what I feel like. Maybe it could just sit a little nicer. Bit short, yeah. Lots of promise for this. I completely agree. I think it's wicked. I feel like there is a lot of promise in this, and this could be a really good track. I disagree with that. I rate the pluck. Okay. Guitar would be nice, but both switch it up. Yeah, just needs to sit in the mix a bit, I think. But generally, my biggest issue though is the arrangement here. The drums are filtered out there, right? And then it comes back in all the way over there. So that is a little bit weird. But wicked, man. Thank you so much for sending that in. Really nice tune. And please do send that back. Aidan, once you've made some edits or once you've finished it, send it our way. Let's have another listen. I would love to have another listen, man, because that's got real potential. I'm going to leave you with the Pixis video again. If you were here at the start of the stream, I played you a little 1-minute promo video that we made for Pixis's release, which is out tomorrow. And in fact, it's out at midnight. Fucking hell. So only a couple of hours away. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with the video if you didn't catch it, so you can hear the 3 tracks in quick succession. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back next week. So please do send in more tunes. Send in your tunes to the Discord channel. Let's get some more. Let's do another feedback session. I've got enough to do another one, at least another one. So it'd be good to maybe do 4 and call that a set. But peace out. Take care. Be safe. I'm going to leave you with the video now. And watch my socials tomorrow because I've got some more news coming. Thank you so much. Peace.